Hey everybody, this is Cece and
Kirk right here.
we're coming at you today with For Real Talk, where we dive deeper into topics outside of relationships.
Yep, a time for a change and also time for more information.
Wonderful. And today we're going to be talking about Father's Day.
Yep, that day just came around again.
Absolutely. And I have to admit straight off the bat that Father's Day is not as commercialized as Mother's Day,
Yep.
but fathers are still just important as mothers. And we're going to talk a little bit today about what does it mean to be a father.
Yeah, because that's very important, especially today, because of the fact that, in a society in which we always think about the fact that fathers really don't have the same type of importance as mothers, but they have just as much of importance in the household as anybody else. And that's the big thing which we're trying to cover today, is to let people know that there is an important role for fathers as well as mothers in the household.
Absolutely, because see, you need both of them. It takes two to make the baby.
And two, to raise the baby.
Amen.
And that's the biggest thing about it too, is just the fact that, we get lost in roles today. But that's the one thing about it though, is that you need both parents to give both sets of eyes onto what's going on with the child, not only in taking care and raising, but also in responsibilities on growing them, especially building a strong moral compass, a way in which they can understand from not only the women's point of view, but a man's point of view from the people that are most influential on your kids.
And see, yeah, that's very important because, say, like for young girls, they need to have a male's point of view in their life of how does dad treat mom, because he's modeling the example she's gonna follow later in life of what is accepted and what is normal. Whether he's presenting a picture of a good dad who's faithful and true to his wife, or if he's the kind that's out there always cheating and having a lot of drama come in and outside females coming in and the mama's stressed and what all. But these examples in front of young girls and young boys help mold their minds into, well, this is the way it's supposed to be.
That is the biggest thing too, and the most important factor, because too many times young boys, because they don't have, and when we say fathers, we're also, to make it clear, not just talking about the biological fathers, but also the stepfathers right there. Is the fathers that, the couple might not be married and they have a fatherly role in the household.
Yeah.
They have a responsibility to go ahead and help mold the child and show them right from wrong, to give them an understanding. And as I said before, this is the most important person in their lives. So they're going to take a lot more from what this person has to say than anyone else in their lives. Their friends or family, this is going to be the reflection of it. And it's just like what you always say, what did mama say? What did daddy say? That's what's going to fall back onto what's happening. And by having a good example to show your child, that way they can grow and develop properly right there. And you won't have too many problems later on in life, because you have a good role model to work from.
Yeah, because see, with a good father teaches their child that I love you, I support you, I'm going to be there for you, and that as you go through life, that you have to take on certain responsibilities for yourself in order to be able to live and succeed. Now, we do have some deadbeat dads out there. We do have some bad examples where these men are not around, and there are some households that are affected by this. But then sometimes you can have a father figure in the grandfather, or in an uncle, or in a godfather. You can go out and reach out to somebody else to be that male figure in your child's life. Give them a male figure to look up to and give them an idea of this is what a man is supposed to be.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing too, is that especially dealing with the deadbeat dads, and not just the fact of financial, but the ones that are not showing any kind of care or concern, who basically come in there, eat, sleep, go back to work, don't care, don't show any emotion, doesn't participate. And that's a big factor too, because too many times we think of being a good father as being a provider for giving kids everything which they need and everything they want. But amazingly enough, a lot of it deals with just being there, showing up at a baseball game, actually going ahead and taking them to the park, participating when it comes down to homework, and doing different things by showing that interaction in which children, crave.
Oh yeah, especially like for little girls, going to the plays with them, going to the parent teacher conferences with
Hmm.
them, just showing up. Some go to Father Daughters Day dances.
Exactly.
Teaching a young lady that a man is supposed to be courteous to her, that a man is supposed to show her respect. That starts with the father. He's not calling her out of her name on a regular
Hmm.
basis, putting her down on a regular
Yep.
basis, telling her what she ain't good for nothing on a regular basis. When you have a good father, you have a calming force in the home. And growing up, that's what I had. It was a calming force because dad didn't go off crazy and half cocked and just yelling for no reason. It took a
Hmm.
lot to get that man mad.
You know,
But once he did, you didn't mess with him. What he said, he put his foot down and it was just like, oops, okay, I'm leaving right now.
and that was it.
Yeah. And then mom and dad would go talk and they'd have their conversation and I was just off outside playing. They handled the adult business of the
Hmm.
house.
And that's the thing about it, is that you want that balance in it, not just to say as far as taking care of the house and taking care of the responsibilities of the family, but also taking care of each other.
Yes.
That's what it's really all about when being a good father is about going ahead and providing for everybody's needs and knowing that you're doing this because you love them and not because you're obligated to it.
Exactly. And when you're doing this, you're showing your children that, look, we can get along with each other. We can work out issues. We can talk to each other. When children have a problem, they need to be able to have someone to come and talk to. That should be their parents first.
Yep.
I know not in out. It's not in the case in everybody's
Yeah.
household, but in my household it is. My children, if they can't talk to me, they can talk to their father.
Hmm.
So whichever one they feel most comfortable going to, they have an outlet. They can say, hey, I need to talk to you.
Yep.
Hey, this happened today. And, if all we can do is lend an ear, but if they're coming to us and, did I do the right thing?
Hmm.
What's your advice on this? How should I handle this? I have my friends coming to me. You know how kids ask other kids
Yep.
for advice.
Uh-huh.
And, some of them will go back home to their parents and go, hey, mom, so guess what? And there you go.
And you know that happens in your life too, that you want to get at least your parents' approval on a lot of things. And in
Mm-hmm.
one way or another, directly or indirectly, you're going to go ahead and ask. And that's what it's about when you're being a proper father, is going ahead and giving the best advice that you can and knowing that this is the way in which you're helping your child develop into a better future because you're giving them the foundation to work from right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because once they get up to say like college age and they're graduating from high school and they're
Yeah,
going out there in the world on their own, they're going to start living their lives based on what they've learned. They may try new things you told
yeah.
them that they should stay away from, but eventually they'll straighten it out.
Exactly. But that's the whole thing, is that you want to go ahead and start a good, is that you want to lay a good course.
Mm-hmm.
And by being there for them, because that's what it really all comes back to, and what it's really about is being there for the family, to help out, to support, and to go ahead and give them that ear, to let them know that this is the thing in which you want to go ahead and be there. If you've got a problem, come to me. If there's an issue, let me know. It's a, if you rob a bank, I'll get a good lawyer. I mean,
Oh my goodness. Okay, yes. Dad, I need you to have that money for me, and that's one of the biggest roles and stereotypes we have about fathers, that they have to provide financially,
mhm.
in the home. And that goes back to the mother and the father, how they decide they're going to run their house.
Yeah.
However they decide they're going to run it, they handle that. And I want to take the time to bust a myth right now that I know is out there about black fathers. And when I hear this myth, it makes me mad that most black fathers aren't even in the home, that they're not even present, that the majority of black households are headed by single black women and the men aren't even there. Let me give you some statistics. Found in a recent CDC study, 2.5 million black fathers live in homes with their kids, and
Mhm.
only about 1.7 million don't. Where it gets misleading is when you use the term single mothers.
Mhm.
When they use the term single mothers, they totally throw out that a man is even in the household.
Exactly. And also another thing too is that there are a lot of men, and I know for a fact, because I know a couple of them, who actually took care of their own kids, who are now single fathers by
Yes.
themselves.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that gets constantly overlooked too. And one of them actually, in fact, two of them take care of like two girls each. So
He
they
got
have more
his
than a
hands
handful.
full. Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
So, I mean, that's the one thing about it is that you just can't go ahead and believe everything that's just put out there. You know, you have to go ahead and understand that there are black men right there who are bringing up daughters you know, by themselves and are handling the responsibilities the best way in which they can. And the one thing about it is that that's what makes it so important that you're always being a positive role model to
Yeah.
help them understand that this is how you want them to go ahead and live and have a good life. And granted, you might not have the biggest, fanciest things, but you're giving them the foundation to let them see that there are better options out there, especially when you're talking about bringing home, when she starts bringing home some guys right there.
And see, the thing is this, when she starts bringing home some guys, she's going to be looking for that guy to act a certain way, to be a certain way, based on how her father treated her. Now, if you calling your daughter the B word every day, you telling her she ain't this, she ain't that, you're not showing that child no love, you're not showing that child that she's valued, then that's what she accepts as normal.
Exactly.
And she's going to go out there and get a guy that's going to treat her that way. Or, you know, if it's in a situation where you have both people at home and dad cheated on mom a lot and he wasn't home, he left and then he came back. And then she goes and gets a man that's not treating her right. You can't be mad because you didn't
Taking responsibility. And
Yeah.
I mean, and that's even on the fact that, oh yes, well I provide and I give my child everything. But are you giving them the proper advice when it comes down to it? And this is dealing with relationship as well, with the fact that you need to sit down and let them understand, you know, what being treated right is really about. And it's not always about money.
Yes.
Amazingly enough, in this world, money can't buy everything.
Oh, it is so true. And you have to let her know that, you know, physical abuse is never accepted, especially if that's what you modeled. If you controlled yourself as a man that I never put my hands on women, I don't raise my voice. I might raise my voice, but I don't curse them. I'm not calling them the B word. I'm not disrespecting them. You are modeling control. And there are men in this world who have control of themselves to that extent. You know, so when the crazy ones out there want to yell, oh, well, now you made me do this and that. That's a lie because men do have control over themselves and they're responsible for their own actions.
That's the whole thing. When you're talking about taking responsibility for your children, it's about, as I said, not only just the economic, but the emotional side. And you cast yourself as a role model on this.
Yes.
You're showing your child the proper way to behave, the proper way to act, and letting them know that there is options and alternatives as well. That certain things are going to come up, and this is how you deal with it, by taking the right path, and not by constantly being upset or mad or throwing money at a problem and making it go away, but by actually sitting down and having a conversation and being a part of it. Again, this is the foundation. This is the seed. This is the thing in which, you know, 5-10 years later, you can't change this.
Oh, yeah, because, see, when you want to talk about that emotional side, you as a father have a right and an obligation to teach your child that, number one, yeah, you got emotions. Yeah, you're going to feel certain things, but it's how you react that makes a difference. You know, you can't just throw at a person, oh, well, you're too emotional. What does that mean? What are you talking about? How am I supposed to change? What am I supposed to do differently? You have to take the time and patience to sit down and explain this to your young men and your young women, to explain to your young boys that if they experience rejection, the answer isn't just getting mad and trying to hurt somebody.
Exactly.
You know, or once this person has become an adult, you know, you hear the sad story where some man, he done shot some poor girl because she rejected him buying a drink from her.
Because he can't handle the situation because he was never taught properly in the first place.
Exactly. And he never learned that all of us feel rejection at some point in time in our lives. And it's okay. It's not going to feel good, but you will survive.
And see, that goes beyond the basic, because I know that goes into that whole birds and the bees talk right there. Yeah, we can keep that simple. But when it comes down to the more complicated issues of relationship, let's say, yes, it's going to be, let's say, interesting, especially
Yeah.
with children and teenagers and their hormones and stuff. But by
Yeah.
constantly letting them know, there are things in which they need to know about people and about how to interact and how to talk to people and what to do and what to look for, then they'll have that good foundation to make better choices. Not always going to be the best choices.
Yeah.
You might not like some of the people, but that will give them a chance and opportunity to make better choices. And that's the
Yeah,
most important part.
it is, because say with your daughter, say she goes out and she likes this guy and she's bringing him home to meet you. And you're sitting there looking at him and you automatically know, because you're a guy, he's a guy, he ain't worth nothing. You already know. Just like a mother can sit there and look at a young lady and get an instant feeling about her in relation to her son, if this girl's going to act right or not, or if she's going to do her son a certain way. Men have this, rapport with each other,
Yep.
where you can look at a young man, he coming in looking you up and down a certain way, or is he scared of you, or, is he being respectful?
Yep.
You show up to go talk to him, and then he acts a certain way, and you go, nah, that ain't the one.
Exactly. Get cued in on something in which she doesn't see,
Mm-hmm.
and then be able to pull her aside later and explain that and let her understand. Yeah, Johnny right there is kind of shifty.
Yeah.
And maybe you might not want to go ahead and be involved with him. And that way, at least she has an idea from a person that she trusts and she knows that she might be on guard. Because let's be for real, she's a teenage girl.
Yeah.
She's still going to try to date Johnny, regardless of how it goes. But at least when she thinks about it later on, and Johnny does something stupid, my dad was right. And yeah, Johnny, you got to go.
Exactly. And even in situations where the daughter gets married, it could be years down the road. I know a father who told his son-in-law, after he visited his daughter in their house one time and there was a hole in the wall. He looked at the hole in the wall and he's looking around and he sees a lamp busted and whatever. And he took the man out, his son-in-law, out to the side, and he talked to him. He said, look, I don't care what you got going on. Don't put your hands on my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if you need somebody to talk to, I don't care what time it is, day or night, you pick up that phone and you call me, but don't you ever touch my child. And that, having that backup is very important for whether your daughter's married, whether she's a teenager, to let the other men and young men in her life know you treat this one with respect.
Yep.
If you have an issue, you need to get to stepping. You need to walk on away. You don't do nothing stupid, but you treat this young lady here with respect.
And that's the important part about being a father, is that way it has weight, it has merit, it has an importance. Because most of the time, think about all the times your friends have told you stuff right there. Some of the people which you've known right there that tell you things in which you're like, okay, really? And then get in trouble for. At least from this source, it is true. And that's why it's important to be a good father and understand that they do listen, amazingly enough.
Yeah, they listen.
They pay attention to what you say, they pay attention to what you're doing, and that they're going to model themselves after you, especially a lot of the young boys right there that definitely need a strong male figure to show not just about strength. Strength is easy. It's about showing compassion. It's about showing understanding. These are the things in which they need to really see. Need to understand that when they're going into a situation and talking to a girl, that if they get frustrated, don't raise your voice, walk away.
Exactly. And when that father shows that empathy to that young man to say, okay, yeah, you may encounter some rejection, you may encounter some difficulties, but you'll survive. It's not the end of the world. And if she doesn't like you, okay, then you're going to go find somebody else.
And when it comes down to real life, too, when it comes down to jobs and places in which you're up here working with, or individuals in which you come across in the street, have that ability to say, look, it isn't that serious. This is how you get out of this. This is how you deal with that. This is who you talk to. This is who you don't talk to. And those things help them go through the minefield of life.
Yeah.
Let them avoid a lot of problems and altercations. You know how black men right there are having so many issues in society today. And part of that is because they're not given the proper guidance and the proper understanding of just the basic things that need to be done.
Exactly. And one of those is dealing with your emotions, because if you get upset, That's fine. Your emotions are yours. Nobody can tell you how to feel. It's how you respond.
Exactly. And
You,
that's where a lot of the action comes into play, in which a lot of them get hurt because they don't know how to respond. Instead, let the emotions get to them and react immediately. And then from there, by being a good father and saying, here's how you really deal with that. And believe me, there's a lot of other options right there. And any good man knows this. But now you need to let your children know this. That's the most important fact.
yeah, you do. You do have to teach them coping mechanisms and how to get along with other people and how to deal with certain situations. That's all very so true. And, fathers continually wear many hats in today's world and today's life. So, in order to honor your father in today's world, talk to him,
Yeah.
visit him. If he's out of state, call him sometimes,
Send them a text. Go ahead and send them a letter. I know people don't like letters.
I don't write no more.
Shoot, you right with that shit. I go to Target, get a card, put that button in the mail. That's it.
What does dad like to do? Does he like to go to ball games, football games, baseball games, plays, whatever? Do something nice for dad. Do something a little different, though, this time
Yeah,
around.
that is the important part right there. The tie thing is getting old real quick.
What about the mugs? I like the mugs.
No. Yeah, you put in pins and stuff the first couple days. After that, it's going in the closet. Yeah, we got to step this game up, folks, right there. Because, moms get it. And I know, because one of my little pet peeves was, especially during school, Father's Day happened to happen during summertime. And dads get kind of left out in the cold right there. Mom gets a macaroni hand that says, hey, I love you, Mom. What the kids could send Mom said, Dad, nothing. We want to go to the water park. That's what they do. So let's step the game up just a little bit.
Oh, well, yeah, we can try to do that. Yeah, but we definitely want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and everybody show all the dads out there some love. We're glad that you tuned in to listen to us today. And definitely come back and, leave us some comments.
Yeah.
What else do you want us to talk
Anything
about?
would you want to go ahead and find out even more on this topic or any other ones right here? That's what we're here for Real Talk.
All right, and this has been Cece. Have a great one.
And Kirk right here, and love and peace.